Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is the complete Walking Dead recap of what you need to know before The Ones Who Live. That's right, Rick Grimes is back for an epic new series, and the best way to watch it is on this video's sponsor, AMC+. Click the link in the description to sign up now and join in for Rick Grimes' return. Rick Grimes was a cop down in Georgia who was shot in the line of duty and wound up in a coma. By the time he woke up, society had collapsed and the dead were a-walkin'. He slept through the start of the zombie apocalypse. Against all odds, Rick finds his family, his wife Lori and son Coral. He goes to the Center for Disease Control in hopes they found a zombie cure. Unfortunately, they did not, and this place is self-destructing, so they leave the CDC a smoking ruin. In Season 2, Rick comes to Herschel's farm, where he starts arguing with his best friend Shane, who thinks there's no room for morality in this new world. And so these two butt heads all season. Finally, Shane goes to kill him, but Rick kills Shane first, then a bunch of zombies come and they leave the farm a smoking ruin. Now, there was a lot of debating this season. The group voted on important decisions, but now Rick's had enough of that. If you want to stick with me, this ain't a democracy, it's a Rick-tatorship. Now Rick finds a prison, which is a great place to live actually, because the high fences keep the zombies out. Except zombies always find a way in, and just then Lori goes into labor, gives birth to baby Judith, but Lori dies. No, Coral. Now we meet a mysterious new character with a sword and zombies chained to her. Yes, it's Michonne, a katana-wielding badass who travels with her pet zombies to mask her scent. She comes to the town of Woodbury, a successful survivors community with their charismatic leader, the governor. But naturally, turns out he's a villain, and he and Michonne don't see eye to eye. So Michonne joins up with Rick at the prison, and when the governor comes for him, they fight him off. Until he comes back for the sequel, Governor Round 2, Tank Boogaloo. Michonne finally kills this guy, but they leave the prison a smoking ruin. With no safe home, they're in constant danger out on the road, so Rick puts on his new murder jacket, and he goes absolutely feral, doing whatever it takes to survive. Eventually he finds the community terminus. Here, have a burger, we're definitely not cannibals. Of course, turns out they are cannibals, but Rick shows them they're messing with the wrong people and leaves terminus a smoking ruin. Back on the road, our group reaches their lowest point, and the imagery of this shot reflects the duality of the title, The Walking Dead, which describes not just the reanimated corpses, but the survivors themselves who have no hope for a future. But soon they do find hope for a future at the walled neighborhood Alexandria, and there's nothing devious here, they just got lucky. And they even have power and running water, so unfortunately Rick shaves his sexy apocalypse beard. But it's a difficult transition back to civilized life, and Rick launches into an unhinged rant. All you living in here are too soft for this world. We're the ones who can survive out there. We're the ones who live. Luckily, Michonne is there to knock some sense into him, and Rick calms down, becomes a good leader. Alexandria faces a bunch of threats, but Rick and Michonne always manage to save it. In fact, these two have been living together as platonic roommates, but one day it's not so platonic, they get it on, and are together the rest of the series. As the group branches out, they meet other communities, like Hilltop, who becomes their ally. But there's bad groups too, like the gang The Saviors, led by Negan, the Walking Dead's biggest villain yet. The show went on, with Rick demoralized under Negan's rule, but it's Michonne who snaps Rick out of it, convinces him to fight back. She repeats his phrase from before, "We are the ones who live." And it becomes their couple's catchphrase to mean even when the odds are against us, we'll never give up and find a way to win. So to fight the Saviors, they'll need more allies. Rick recruits the Kingdom, where King Ezekiel has a pet tiger. Then there's the Garbage People living at the dump, led by bad haircut Jadis. More on her later. She agrees to help fight the Saviors, but instead she sets Rick up. But their other allies stay true, and it's all-out war, which mostly involves wasting a bunch of bullets. But one major thing, Carl gets bit. Rick's son dies. No, Carl! In the end, of course, the good guys win, but Rick lets the rest of the Saviors live. He's like, look, the living have to stick together. Our real common enemy is the dead. He even lets Negan live with life in prison to show there's room for mercy in this new world. And so for a while, the future looks bright. Rick's building a bridge to unite all the communities. But as always, things go wrong, and when a zombie horde's gonna cross the bridge to protect his family, Rick Grimes sacrifices himself. Boom! But Rick survived, and he's found by none other than Trash Lady Jadis. And she has a big secret. She's in communication with a mysterious super group that has helicopters. They ask if she has an A or a B. Rick is a B, more on that later. She's buying her way into this community by giving them Rick, and so Rick Grimes flies off the show. In the other series, Fear the Walking Dead and The World Beyond, we learn that this group is the Civic Republic. But before we get there, here's a quick rundown on how The Walking Dead ends. After Rick's departure, there's a multi-year time jump. We're now 10-ish years into the zombie apocalypse. With gasoline hard to find, we're riding around on horses now, and with bullets hard to find, we're using bow and arrows. Rick's daughter, baby Judith, has grown into a cute little ass kicker, war, and turns out Michonne was pregnant. She had a son, RJ, Rick Jr. All these years, Michonne thought Rick was dead, but now she finds a phone with her and Judith carved into it and Japanese characters for some reason. Now that she knows Rick's still alive, she says goodbye to her kids. Mama's going on an adventure to find him. The last we see of Michonne, she meets King Batch and joins up with a whole caravan of people. The next villain group is the Whisperers, who wear zombie masks to blend in with the dead. They're expert zombie herders and have herded a huge horde, and during the Whisperer War, Hilltop is left a smoking ruin. Our former villain, Negan, is trying for a redemption arc. He goes undercover with the Whisperers to get close to their leader Alpha and kills her. And long story short, the Whisperers are defeated. The final villains of the main series are a super group who dress like stormtroopers. They're from the Commonwealth, a massive survivors community that's a return to real civilization. And they're not cannibals or anything. Their dark secret is just the huge wealth gap between the rich and poor. And the current leadership are pretty bad people, so our group sets off a Commonwealth revolution. So the main series ends with our friends in charge of the Commonwealth, and Alexandria is rebuilt, so overall, the future looks bright. But Rick Grimes is still out there somewhere, and Michonne is out looking for him. Who is this other massive supergroup, the Civic Republic? Here's what we know. We learn a little bit in Fear the Walking Dead, the first Walking Dead spin-off that shows the start of the zombie apocalypse. You know, the fun part that Rick Grimes slept through. At first we follow the Clark family in Los Angeles, but the show's kind of rebooted to follow Morgan Jones in Texas. Watch my recap to get the whole crazy story. Most notably, Texas gets nuked, and so for a while it's the nuclear apocalypse in the zombie apocalypse. As for the Civic Republic with the three-ringed helicopters, we really don't learn very much. It starts when Al finds a zombie wearing this weird body armor and has sort of military-grade secret orders and stuff. They're called the CRM, the Civic Republic Military, and they're apparently incredibly well organized with supply drops all over the country. They have standing orders to kill strangers on sight. This one, though, mishears her orders and instead kisses a stranger on sight. But we finally learn more about the CRM in The Walking Dead World Beyond. It follows a group of young adults who grew up here in the zombie apocalypse. Watch my recap to get the full story. They're from a successful survivors community at the University of Nebraska who are allies with the Civic Republic, so we actually get to meet them a bit. But turns out they're not really allies because the CRM kills them all. It seems like they don't want any other communities that could grow and rival their own power. But our kids don't know that yet, and one of them is recruited to a Civic Republic Science Center where they are indeed researching how to cure the zombie virus. But in the classified section where the kids aren't allowed is the seedy underbelly of zombie research where they're killing people to get fresh specimens. And that's what they were talking to Jadis about. It seems like an A is a freshly bit person. Rick Grimes was a B, which we can assume is a person who was more useful alive. And giving them Rick successfully bought her way in because Jadis does show up on this show, somehow with an even worse haircut. Now the CRM is up to no good. They destroy another one of their allies, Omaha. But the Civic Republic has a civilian government which presumably doesn't know what the military is up to. So our kids try to expose the corruption, but Jadis is a CRM true believer. She's like, look, I spent years living in a dump. A military dictatorship is a big upgrade. And she's a cutthroat operator who sets up her superior, so she's rising up those CRM ranks. So our crew sets off to warn other communities of what the Civic Republic is doing, while this one kid, Silas, goes undercover as a CRM soldier. But Silas started off as a prisoner where he was using this stick on zombie cleanup duty, and that's the same jacket Rick Grimes was wearing, and he had that same weird stick. So it seems like Rick was maybe a prisoner who tried to escape but then was caught. But Rick and Michonne, the ones who live, nothing's gonna stop them from reuniting. Now you're ready for The Walking Dead The Ones Who Live, which premieres February 25th on AMC and AMC+. Rick Grimes is back, so if you've ever been a fan of The Walking Dead, now's the time to get back into it. An epic zombie apocalypse love story featuring The Walking Dead's best characters, Rick and Michonne. What adventures will they overcome to reunite? And we'll finally really get to know the Civic Republic, the mysterious big bad of The Walking Dead universe. Early reviews are really good, so I recommend you check this one out. So click the link in this video's description to sign up for AMC Plus and start your free trial now. Then join in for the return of Rick Grimes in The Walking Dead The Ones Who Live. If you liked this recap, hit that subscribe button for more of the best recaps of TV and movies.